I wanted my mom's memories. And Jean absolutely refused me anything and everything. She would just cut me down.
Can I ask you a question? That's not normally how sisters get along. So what was the problem between the two of you?
This is the plaintiff, Jolene. She says she's suing her sister, the defendant, for money she stole, along with a chair and lawnmower. The defendant is nothing but a bully who purposely kept her from seeing their dying mother, and she's suing her for the state max of $10,000. This is the defendant, Jean Franzway. She says she took care of her and her sister's dying mother and did everything by the book and did not steal any money. The only reason her sister is suing her today is because she's run out of money. She's accused of theft.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Millian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Jolene and Ms. Franzway, you folks are sisters, correct?
Yes.
So, Ms. Jolene, according to you, you are out about $16,000. The statutory max in your state of Wisconsin is $10,000. Tell me why you're suing your sister.
My mom had a brain bleed on March 6th. Immediately, my older sister started going in her house, and she started throwing things away, giving things away, not allowing me in the house at all. And when my mom was in the hospital, she told only me that I could see her only every 2 hours for 10 minutes. Everybody else got to see her however long they wanted, but I was restricted.
Did she tell you why?
She said I had outrageous behavior, I guess you could say, but no, I didn't do anything wrong except be her sister. And so Jean just took
why
over
did you,
everything.
let me just ask you a question. I understand she's the older sister, but you're a grown woman. Like, how is it that she was able to mandate that? Did she have the power of attorney over her health or something? What's the deal there?
Yes, house and financial while my mom was alive.
Okay, so did you, Ms. Franzway, did you have power of attorney over your mom in 2018 when the brain bleed happened?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so go on.
So anyway, I would ask things, I would ask her questions, but she refused to give me any of my gifts even. And that's what I wanted, was my mom, the things that she said I could have, and the things my mom gave me before she even died that I wasn't able to bring to my house because they needed 2 people in a trailer to bring it back. I wanted my mom's memories. And Jean absolutely refused me anything and everything. She would just cut me down.
Can I ask you a question? That's not normally how sisters get along. So what was the problem between the two of you that predates the health problems of your mother? Did you guys just never get along, or was there something that happened?
As long as I can remember, she has not liked me and she has been mean to me. And I've never had an older sister that cared.
Why are you laughing at your sister crying, Ms. Franzway? Why is that funny to you?
Because she's the one who's antagonized me my whole life. All my life growing up, I've had to call my mother and tell her to please rein her daughter in because she would call me up and just start at me out of the blue for anything and everything.
But
so
what was the problem?
We don't get along. Period. We never
Just
have,
ever.
We never will.
Has there ever been one big blowout? Has there ever been one big problem? Can you identify what you think is the problem or no?
Oh, there's been blowouts our whole life because she just won't leave me alone.
By doing what? What does she do that doesn't leave you alone?
She'll send me emails, 20, 30 of them sometimes a day. I've threatened her with the police.
What would she say? What would she say in the emails? What was she trying to get you to do that she would send 23 emails?
There's some things in the emails that I can't even say because they were so horrific and horrendous.
Okay, now I'm asking you really, because that wasn't, I mean, that's the ancillary stuff. The stuff I'm really trying to get to is what was she getting you to do?
She wanted things that weren't hers. Like, for example, my rocking horse, I got that for my 3rd birthday. So she asked for things she couldn't have. She sent me an email telling me that she would not give me one red damn dime for anything. And she would not accept the fact that the judge took her out of the picture because she would not allow anything to happen. She wouldn't agree on anything.
Wait, hold on one
There
second.
had
What do you mean? Stop. What do you mean the judge took her out of the picture? What are you referring to?
He made me sole trustee so that I could get everything done because she wasn't agreeing to anything. So it took her out of all the decision making so I could get everything done.
Okay, because she was she was named by your mother as a trustee on the house, right?
Yes.
And the house was in a
Yes.
trust.
Yes.
It appears, Ms. Jolene, let me ask you a question. It appears that the judge removed you as trustee on the house. Why did that happen?
I fell asleep. I wasn't able to get to court in time, so I couldn't present any of my evidence. They finished just when I got there, and I tried to approach the judge, you know, to get up close to tell him I wanted to have him hear my case, and he said no, case closed, and they took me off of everything, and I did. And the reason why I didn't sign
How
the
late were
paperwork for
you?
Jean to
How
be
late were
executor
you?
is 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
About
Is it
5
true she was
minutes.
only 5 minutes late and the judge wouldn't reopen it?
It was about 10 minutes.
Wow, that's kind of intolerant.
She was almost tased by the bailiff and escorted to her car by the bailiff out of the courthouse because of her behavior.
Why?
She come running into the courtroom screaming and hollering, no, 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 swinging her purse and a bag around. The bailiff asked her to stop and told her to stop. She would not stop. She rushed to the judge's bench and she was escorted
No, I did
out
not.
by the bailiff to her car from the courthouse.
I did not go up to the judge. I went up to the tables, and the officer was standing at the table, so I tried to go around him so I could listen to the judge because I figured it was more important to hear what he was
You
saying.
can't approach a
versus what
judge.
the
That's not
officer
going
was
to.
saying.
You can't walk in
I
late to a
did.
hearing and then approach the judge like, you know, that's kind of. So he removes you. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks here. He removes you as trustee on the house. She was always the executor on the estate. And then that means that she closes the estate. That means she sells the stuff. Now, she has to do it in accordance with how the will says. You say that there are things. What exactly, how do you get to $10,000? Can you tell me what exactly you're suing for?
Well, there's items. There was an auction, and I wanted to buy my items that my mom at least said I could have. Jean had the police take me off the property, so I didn't get to buy anything. I did take pictures of things. I did look around at things, and there's items that I did not see. Jean gave away a lot of items. She refuses to admit it, but I know she did. So that's where some of the money's coming from. My items, the gifts that my mom gave me, I wanted.
When you say the
even
gifts
there's
that
a
your mom
picture-
gave you, what evidence do you have that your mom gave you those items as gifts? Because when we have these kind of disputes, we're going exactly by the paperwork. And in the paperwork, there is one item that your mother bequeathed to you in her will. The one item that she bequeathed solely to you is the wedding ring. Did you end up getting the wedding ring?
I wear in it.
Okay, good. All right. And then everything else she says is to be sold and split between 2 out of the 3 sisters. Why did she X out your 3rd sister?
Because my younger sister owed my mom money, and for about 20-some plus years, she didn't pay her back, would pay her in dribs and drabs. And there was things that my younger sister did to my mom, and she just said no.
Okay, well, that's her money. She's entitled to decide how she wants to split it. But I was just curious. All right, so let's talk about the auction, Ms. Fansway. According to her, she wanted to buy some of those things. You have the right to sell that stuff in order to pay off the debts of the estate and then split whatever proceeds are left over among the 2 people who are supposed to get it, which is you and your sister. Your sister, however, for sentimental reasons, wanted to attend the auction and go ahead and have an opportunity to buy some of that stuff. Why did you have her removed by the police?
Because the auctioneer came up to me and told me that Jolene was going through boxes and removing things, and she was making comments to the people there that it was her mother's auctions and she had to buy stuff, and they were afraid that she was going to upset and not have the auction be as productive as it could be. So she was removed.
Do you have, well, let's talk about how productive the auction was, but also, do you have any proof of what you just said? Do you have an affidavit from the auctioneer saying that?
No.
All right. So now, how did the auction go?
It went quite well. We sold the house and everything that same day.
No. I'm not talking about the house. I'm talking about the items in the auction, the physical items, you know, like the contents of the house. How did that go?
You know, I just went by what the sheets were. I didn't really pay attention to the auction. I was out in the front and the auction was in the back. I just went by the sheets that I got
How did
from
it
the
go?
auctioneer.
You're the executrix. All right. So if you're the executor of the estate, I'm asking you, how did it go?
It was an auction. It went fine. It went off. That's how auctions go.
How much money
Whatever
did you
people bid
make?
for. We made a total, after all the bills were paid, of $209.55. After
Okay,
the
now that is
porta-potty
all
was
of your
paid
mother's
for,
belongings.
advertised-
And right, so the auction made $1,700, and somehow the expenses ended up being, according to you and the auctioneer, ended up being $1,500, and then only $200 was made in the auction? How does that happen?
Because
you're in charge of this, you see?
Yes, there's a 25% commission for the $377. The advertising was $403.62. The porta potties were $100.45, and their labor was $420. Because they packed up the whole everything. They went in and packed everything up. And got it ready to
Okay.
go. So there's my sheet. I sent you that sheet.
Were you giving
of their
stuff away
expenses.
at zero rather than letting your sister have stuff?
As far as the auction goes, I had no control over that.
None at all?
You know, I gave
Tell me
my
what this
son
is.
a table before.
Tell me what this
What?
is. What picture am I
That's a
looking at?
cedar
Is that
chest.
during the auction?
That's in the auction. That was sold.
Okay, who are these people?
That's my sister and her kids.
Okay, who's taking the picture? You?
No, I did not take that picture.
What is this a picture of? Everybody shooting a bird. Who was that sent to?
I had no control over what my other sister did. That's my
Who was
that's
that
my other
sent to?
sister's.
It was sent to me, ma'am.
Jolene sent that picture to me the other day in the email. Because
Ms.
it's my
Jolene, I'll
sister's
just give
picture,
the
it's
floor
not
to you
mine.
since Ms. Fansway can't seem to answer. Who are the people in the picture?
And that's my younger sister, her daughter who's over 18, and her son who is well under 18 years old.
Okay. What are the items that are in the picture? Are these items that you had asked
That is
for?
my mom. That's one of the ones, yeah. That was my mom's cedar chest.
Who sent you that picture? Since the defendant
It was
can't
sent
answer
to me
that,
by
you
my younger
answer that.
sister.
Who sent that to you? Your younger sister.
My younger sister.
And why did she send you that picture?
She says it's where it belongs, and Jean sent me an email saying about it's right where it belongs to, and that's with my younger sister.
Okay. So this ended up going to your younger sister, right?
Correct. Yes.
She bought it for what, $1? How much did she buy that
I don't
for in
know.
the auction, Ms. Fansway?
$40.
$40. And it ends up going to your younger sister. The person who sent it to you was your younger sister. And when did you get an email from the defendant saying it's where it belongs?
Shortly
never
after
sent it.
I received the one from my sister.
All right. So, Ms. Jolene, things were sold at this auction. Very little was made. I don't like it either. I think you're right that Ms. Fansway doesn't like you and didn't want you to have memories of your mother. But what can you point to that Ms. Fansway did that was contrary to the will or contrary to her fiduciary obligation as executor of the estate? I've looked at all the documentation. The judge does approve that she be the executor, and the judge does close it out and say she's closed it out successfully. So what can you point to specifically that your mom said to do in the will that didn't end up happening? The house got sold. You got a check for $38,000, which was her half of the house, right, Ms. Fansway?
Yes.
I presume you got a check for half of the auction stuff, even though I kind of don't like how that went down.
No.
The judge did
No, she
approve
didn't,
it.
ma'am.
And
Ma'am, the court order was that money had to be used to pay her bills.
Okay. You know, I'm unimpressed with how the auction went, but that is a very small part of this estate. I'll tell you what else I'm unimpressed with, Ms. Fansway. Let me ask you about this. What is this? Joe, it's your mother. You really need to get your head checked. I'm worried about you. From heaven always. I think it's misspelled, remember. Jean was just a second. Jean was my favorite. You make me gag. Or what's this over here? Joe, it's your mother. You are a huge letdown to me. Jean was always my favorite. See you soon. I'm haunting you. These are notes that your sister found in books that she did have. Who wrote those?
Yes, and she asked me about those, and I told her I don't know where they came from. Those are not for me because I would not do that because I want nothing to do with her. I don't want to give her any more fire to have to contact me for anything.
It's kind of strange, though, saying Jean is my favorite. You're Jean, right?
No, my name is Jeannie, to be honest with you. She always calls me Jean to irritate me.
Whose handwriting is this?
I don't know, ma'am. I'm sorry. It's not mine.
Because that's kind of messed up, isn't it? You know, if your position is that your sister's mentally ill, because that is your position, right, Ms. Fansway? You're always saying how Jolene is mentally ill?
Yes, and that's why I'm telling you, I did not do that. That is not my writing.
Because would you agree with me that whoever did do that is a horrible person and there's a special place in hell for them? Because if someone is mentally ill, the last thing they should be doing is leaving notes from her dead mother in books for her to find, right? That would be really terrible, whoever did this, right? Okay.
You know, Your Honor, I agree with you, but that's not what this case is about. This is about what...
Oh, I'll decide what the case is about. No. I'll decide what the case is about.
Okay,
right?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am, you will.
Ms. Jolene, let me ask you a quick case. Stop, Ms. Fansway. Ms. Jolene, is there anything you can point to in the will that your sister did not obey? Or is there anything that you can point to in her disposing of the things that was approved by the court in the end? Anything you can point to that judge messed up on that I should take a second look at because she violated an obligation as executor of the estate?
I'm sorry. I'm just really upset right now. I'm not thinking clearly.
I know you are. And I know what you're upset about is something super profound that has nothing to do with 20-year-old furniture. It's just that I can't handle the stuff you're really upset about. What you're really upset about, if I had a magic wand and I could make siblings who've been on the earth many decades actually reverse and get along, I would do that. But I can't. I don't have that magic wand. The only thing I can do is handle the issues that are in front of me. So, and the issue in front of me, okay, for me to be able to rule is I need you to point out something that she did that violated her fiduciary obligation. Because the auction, which is the only thing that kind of bothers me because I think they were taunting you. And I think it's vicious. But the auction, the taunting and the viciousness, you know, as far as we can tell, is the other sister. So other than the fact that there's $1,700 made, of which only $200 went to the estate, that in and of itself, even though I think it stinks, especially when you're selling stuff at $40 to the sister, who then shoots a bird at you and said, you know, like that does bother me, but there was an auctioneer involved. So tell me what you can point to that she didn't do right.
That things are supposed to be split 50-50?
How not? She sold the stuff. You got the 50-50 on the house. Things had to get paid first because there are bills that have to be paid. Because you don't get 50-50 without having to pay bills. It's 50-50 after the bills are paid. Look, I'm very sorry about the pain that is involved with these three sisters. You know, my inclination is to think that your mother is turning in her grave, looking at how this went down after her death. She tried very hard to be so specific about who should get what so that this wouldn't happen. And I have to imagine that if you were all honoring your mother, there wouldn't be this awful stuff happening between people. I've read your emails to your sister. You are not kind, Ms. Fansway. I don't know your frustration, though, about all the years of stuff you have been through. But I do believe when I read her emails and your emails that if your position is that she is mentally ill, that you should be kinder. I do believe that. But that is not a legal objection to how she's handled the estate. The probate judge signed off on everything she did. I have taken a second look at everything she did. And I cannot find that there's anything that she did wrong. In a normal relationship, a good sister would say, well, you want this, then come and get it. I do see emails where she would say to you, okay, I'm gonna give you 1 day, and then you better get a trailer and have it that day, because if not, I'm not gonna give it. That's not a normal sister-sister relationship. But unfortunately for you, the person in charge is this sister. That's who your mom said. So there's nothing that a court of law can do unless you can point to something that she did wrong. And not only did the probate judge look at it and sign off on it, I've taken another fresh look at it. And I cannot rule in your favor and order her to pay you $10,000 worth of damages, because there is no legal obligation to you or to the estate that she violated. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
So in this sister versus sister dispute, the plaintiff, who filed for $10,000, gets nothing out of the lawsuit. The victor was the defendant. So let's talk to Ms. Jolene, who is the plaintiff. Ms. Jolene, how do you feel right now about the outcome of the case?
Like I failed my mom again. I failed my mom. I didn't get to speak with her.
Listen.
I didn't get to spend time with her. I didn't get to be with her when she died. I didn't get to tell her I loved her one more time.
I'm so sorry for you, and I know you're very upset, but, you know, it's out of the hands of the court now. They can't fix this, and they can't fix this relationship with you and your sister either. What do you think's going to happen in the future now that your mom is out of the picture between you and your sister?
I did never call my sister up and yell at her. I never did that. I would never do that. So she's never got out of puberty, unfortunately, and I don't have sisters. I can't do anything about it.
Well, I'm very sorry, but that's the judge's decision, and obviously that's a decision between you and your sister. Ms. Franzway, let me ask you, now that the court case is over, what do you see for the future between you and your sister? Anything?
Hopefully nothing. I hope she never contacts me for anything, ever again.
Okay, that puts it pretty bluntly, I would say. I guess that'll bring the end to this case. Here's another session now of After the Verdict.
They say that where there's a will, there's a way, Marilyn, but when it comes to trusts and wills, where there's a will, there's relatives.
Yep.
Right? And an executor of estate, like the defendant in this case, has an obligation, a fiduciary obligation, as you said, to act in the best interest of the estate. And at the end of the day, I guess the plaintiff really couldn't carry the burden of showing that she hadn't.
It's very hard. And it's particularly hard when you've already had the probate judge approve of what happened.
Right.
I mean, the only thing that slowed me down and wanted me to, made me want to take an extra minute to look at it is that I really wanted to analyze the behavior of the defendant.
Well, you have 3 daughters.
Yeah.
And they were 3 sisters,
yeah,
I think.
And it's just painful.
Oh,
what do you mean
God.
I have 3 daughters? You have 3 daughters too?
Well, I do too.
We have 3 daughters.
Right.
Yeah, it's just painful to watch that because as we tell our kids always, your best friends cradle to grave, treat each other right.
Right.
Can you imagine our children doing that to each other?
God forbid.
Never in a million years.
Mm-mm.
So Cheyenne wants to know this. Hey, Harvey, what happens if somebody were to buy a used car off of Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace without it stating it's an as-is sale in the ad? Is it automatically considered to be as-is, or does it have to be explicitly stated? Thanks. Well, if it does not say as-is, then you have a right, if the car is not in proper working order, to demand either a partial refund or a full refund. As-is means that you take your chances. And without saying that, tough luck for the seller. That seller is responsible for selling a good car based on what was represented. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case inside the courtroom.
This is the plaintiff, Merle Wellington. She says the defendant is responsible for the loss of her 2 designer suitcases, and he refuses to take responsibility and pay for them. She can't believe he did this to her and is suing for $2,500, the value of her suitcases. This is the defendant, Charles Thomas. He says the plaintiff is a hoarder, and he helped her find some movers to transport her belongings to her new apartment. After the move, she claimed 2 suitcases were missing. He didn't take them and owes her nothing. He's accused of stealing.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that her 2 designer suitcases were stolen by the defendant and he refuses to return them. Now, the defendant, who is a mover, says that he was taking her stuff from one house to another, and he says that she's claiming 2 bags are missing. Well, he didn't do it. It's the case of you can't bag that.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Wellington, you are suing your former realtor, Mr. Thomas, for $2,500 in damages because, according to you, the movers that he helped you get stole some luggage from you. Tell me what happened here.
On the 30th of July, so when I met with Mr. Thomas, because I needed a 2-bedroom apartment. I was moving from a 3-bedroom apartment. I told him, well, I'm going to go and get some movers, because initially I had spoken to some of the elders of my church and they had agreed to move me. But he said to me, oh, don't worry. I have some men that I usually help out. And he mentioned something which I got the impression that he was a pastor or had some church affiliation. So knowing that Black churches usually have something like that going on, where they help each other. So I said, how much is it going to be? He said $800. And I thought, anyway, since it's a church.
How was that figure decided upon before looking at all the stuff she had? Or did Mr. Thomas, who are these people to you? Are they friends? Are they a completely separate corporation and all you did was give her their name? How did you get to be so involved in the move?
Well, she asked for assistance because she was like a deadline. She was trying to move a humongous amount of property from a 3-bedroom and to a 2-bedroom. So I offered her. I don't recall her saying that her elders are going to move her or people from her church. We did because I am a usher within my church, and I did bring up some things to let her know that you're safe, because she was elderly and I didn't want to feel that she would be taken advantage of in any way. So I let her know I've been ushering the same church for more than 15 years, and I'm a pillar of the community. I'm also a school teacher, and I'm a realtor. So I just said that, you know what, I got some friends that I know in the community I can help out, because I do a lot of moving as myself. When people ask me for referrals, I said, okay, I can make a phone call, but I place no responsibility. I let her know that I have no responsibility. I can make a call for a friend to help out, because she's on a deadline.
How did the decision get made? I understand, but how did the decision get made that it would be $800? My understanding is that when the movers got there, they went nuts because there was so much stuff. Right, so they saw the stuff. So why were they upset?
Oh yeah, they said no. They came over. They said, "Oh, this is a lot," because she offered a less amount of money. So I guess when it came over,
right. But what I'm not understanding is who said 800 without looking at how much stuff there was.
No, they did that together. When the people came up to the property, that's when they looked at everything and they told her what it cost. I can't tell her what it cost. I'm not a mover. I'm a realtor, a licensed realtor.
Either way, let me ask you a question. According to you, the movers stole 2 pieces of luggage that were designer luggage. What designer were they?
I do not know what designer they were. I never knew they were designer until the mover said it when he saw the 2 pieces of luggage. To me, they were just pieces of luggage. He made that decision.
Okay.
And I said to him, how do you know? He said, by the quality of the material and the zippers.
Okay.
I remember.
So how do you know they're worth $1,500?
That's a price I put on it, because he said to me, you know how much money you can get for this? And I said, really? And that was the end of the conversation, because I was stressed out having to move. And I really didn't pay much attention.
So what is your premise? Are you saying that you then found out that the luggage was missing and that they must have stolen it after alerting you to its value?
Yes, Your Honor. I saw him leave the apartment with the 2 pieces of luggage. when I spoke
Wait,
to
did you
him
try to
about
stop
the
him?
two, he was moving my stuff. So he had to move them
Okay,
out.
so when you got to the new apartment and it wasn't there, did you say to him, "Where's my luggage"?
I called him and I spoke to him about the luggage. He said, yes, I have it. And I said, why? He said, because you owe me $400. And I said, well, how come I owe you $400? I said, I have no more money. The only money coming in is my Social Security. And since that, I cannot get my suitcases. So then I called
Okay,
Mr.
Mr. Thomas, what's going on with the suitcases? What's going on with the suitcases?
Okay, let me explain. When she came to me and she notified me, hey, these young men that you got helped me move, they took some luggage from me. So I called the person up and said, they complained, said you took something from her. And they said, yeah, man, she kept saying that she's gonna promise us, give us extra more. She kept promising them, to give them more. I'm gonna take care of you.
More what?
And then she said,
more what?
More money. More money.
Okay.
And then she started, she said, they told me she gave them that luggage. She didn't want it. She gave them that luggage. She gave him that luggage because she couldn't use nothing because she couldn't take it where she was going. I know she's part of a congregation.
Where's the luggage?
I called the guy up. Now I'm gonna give it to you. I paid him $50 cash because for some reason I couldn't see. She kept saying that she owes me something. Owed you what? I wasn't there. Whatever she was doing, what agreements she was making. She said, "Man, that lady she is too much." So I gave him the $50. I went and got the luggage. Right here's the luggage here. I can show it to you right here. Right, and I Googled it because it's supposed to be DMI. And then look at this luggage. I paid $50 for this. It's got 2 luggage inside of one. And this is from Chinatown or something like that. And I had my wife Google it. If you look at the things, DMI, how is this $1,500? I was kind of upset. And I went back to try to contact her again. There was no response. But for some reason, when I got that notice in the court saying that I'm being taken to court, I got her file because I wanted to get her file. I got everything she did. I got the listing that I got the apartment for them because I shared with another agency. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get this done, but I'm going to give her back her luggage anyway. She refused. She wanted me to blame me something for a bed set or something. I couldn't retrieve that. I don't know where it's at or little screws. I don't know where the stuff is at.
Did you tell her you had the luggage?
Yes, and she, you know what? I contacted her. I wanted to make arrangements to bring it back. We had no communication after that. No, there's no communication. There was no.
So
I'm not
didn't know that you had the luggage.
Let's just say that, to my recollection, I contacted her and I let her know that this luggage is supposed to be some English luggage. I have it here. I have it in my possession.
When did you
contact her? And I was supposed to make arrangement. Like the 2 days or the next day when she told me the guy stole something. Because I didn't want to lose track of the guys who I use because they move around. I met him in McDonald's. I paid him $50. He gave me the luggage back. I went home right away and I Googled it. This is expensive luggage. And she was telling me that was like $1,500, $2,000.
Okay,
I said, hold on.
But you know where she lives. You know where she lives because you got her the apartment. Why didn't you just bring her the luggage?
Because I didn't know, first of all, she's elderly. I didn't know her hours, right? Because she's a nurse, I believe, or something. She's retired and she still works or something like that. So that
why
was the whole
didn't you
point.
write her a letter, a certified letter or something, and say, I have your luggage? How long have you had the luggage?
The day we moved, the day she moved. When she told me that
I don't know when that is.
She called me.
How long is that?
More than 6 months.
Have you had...
It's been...
6 months. How is it that in 6 months you don't go by and just give her the luggage and get this thing over with?
Oh no, I tried to contact her, right? I tried to contact her. She did not contact. She knows my job. I have a broker. She could have called the office. She could have made a complaint to my broker.
I don't understand. She doesn't know that you paid $50 and got the luggage unless you tell her that you got the luggage for her. Did he ever tell you he had the luggage?
No, Your Honor. When I spoke. Oh, God.
Okay, so if she did, I'm asking you to just prove to me that you told her. Okay.
He did not.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It's
All right.
a luggage. It's a luggage that I went out on my limb to get back for her, and I realized, hold on, I'm doing all this running. She had me doing every zip, find apartment, zip.
I know, that's why you have done so much that I don't understand why you didn't drop off the luggage at her house and then be done with it and have her sign something.
No, wait, that's my apology. I think I did attempt that, but she wasn't there. If her car wasn't there, she wasn't there.
No. Hold on. Every time I ask you what you've done, it's like, I think I called her. I probably called her. Now it's, I think I drove by. You would remember if you drove by. Mr. Thomas, return the luggage to Miss Wellington that belongs to Miss Wellington. That's all we need to have done. There's not going to be punitive damages. I have no idea how this got so hairy. I don't know how it became a lawsuit. I do know you keep saying, well, she forgets things and she's elderly. Well, that may be. I'm elderly and I forget things too. But I'll tell you what. If you went and paid $50 for that luggage, I'm surprised you didn't just finish that circle and just deliver the luggage, because we wouldn't be here wasting our time if you had.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
We're going to make arrangements.
She avoided me. She avoided me.
I don't understand how she can avoid you. She's living at an address that you provided. You're the one you're the realtor.
Right.
You know where she moved into. Drive there at 8 o'clock at night. I bet you she's going to be there, right? It's kind of easy, right?
Okay,
is it a far drive? Maybe that's why. Is it a far drive or something? What would be the...
Well, I live in Long Island. It's not a far drive. She lives in Queens. My whole point is that I tried.
Oh, I know how everybody in the boroughs always pretends that they're talking about from one country to another. That's,
No, I tried several attempts. I was just unable to get at her.
All righty. Well, you could drive by, but here's the thing. Nobody who lives in Long Island wants to drive to Queens, unless, of course, you have some other realty business in Queens. But in 6 months, that never happened? All right. Here's what's going to happen. As far, I rule in your favor, Ms. Wellington, that you're entitled to the luggage. We're going to make arrangements after we conclude this trial for the luggage to get to you. That's my verdict. All righty, everybody. Good luck, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff is going to win this case. She's not getting $2,500. She's getting the luggage back because Mr. Thomas still has it. Let's talk to him. Mr. Thomas, how do you feel about the outcome of this case? You're not surprised, are you, at all?
Well, no. I've been dealing with this person, and everything out her mouth was always changing up. If she told you $50, when you did something, it came to $25. Everything always changed. But when I went to got the luggage, I realized, oh, is she trying to scam me or scam the movers and stuff like that? And she gave them. They told me she gave them the luggage because she didn't need it no more.
Okay, you will see that she gets the luggage. The court's going to make sure you
absolutely.
Right? All right, Ms. Wellington, let me ask you a quick question. Are you surprised that he still has it?
I don't even know what to say. I mean, he should be a lawyer. He should be a lawyer. He's very good at lying. It's nothing of the case. That man never had the suitcases. Apparently, he went and got them from his buddy when he got the summons to appear in court. He's never called me. Why would he call me to give me the cases, and I would go through all this process to sue?
Well, congratulations. You're getting the suitcases back. Finally.
Thank you,
well,
sir.
Let's see what the judges say about this. Time for another edition of After the Verdict.
Sometimes it seems no good deed goes unpunished. And Mr. Wellington, in this case, it looks like he really was just trying to help out an elderly neighbor. I think that was your take on it, wasn't it?
Yeah, not really.
No? There's a little baggage to his story.
I think there's a little baggage there. I don't know. If she really did give him the $800, I think maybe he was getting a cut, or I don't know.
Do you really think those bags are worth more than $50?
Oh, no, those bags, I think if he paid $50,
flea market.
I don't know. Actually, they're in very good condition. But so I have no idea what they're worth. But
TMI is not some famous.
No, I think TMI is the zipper. I'm not sure.
Blake from Boulder, Colorado wants to know this. Hey, Harvey, this whole state-to-state quarantine thing, how does it work? Is it by the honor system? Well, that's interesting. It is by the honor system right now because there is no federal law requiring this kind of self-quarantining. Obviously, Joe Biden is going to become president in January, but there's no evidence there will be a federal national mandate. And because of that, it is done city by city, state by state. So you have to look at where your state is, where your city is, and that's what you have to abide by. That'll do it for this case, and we will see you next time.